would like to take this moment to welcome everybody who's listening. Everybody. Whether it's one body or multiple bodies, probably just one, to the Midnight Masterminds. What is this? Why does it exist? Yeah, we call ourselves the Comeback Kids. Because we were kids once, and we're coming back from the...
Nothing!
Yeah.
Coming back from nothing.
So, long story short, we were a podcast about 6 months ago. Something like that.
That was
Real question mark on it.
On our own channel. And we have had the pleasure, nay, the privilege of being absorbed into another channel called Screenplay.
Yum.
So thank you for absorbing us. We feel properly absorbed.
Like a sponge.
Yeah. Like osmosis.
I kind of feel like I have to file a police report.
Hey, you don't have anything to worry about. Harvey Weinstein's been arrested.
Yay!
It's true. So,
seriously.
You must be wondering, what are the Midnight Masterminds? What is this podcast? Why am I here? I'm supposed to be here for screenplay content, and yet I'm stuck listening to this tomfoolery. Well, I'll tell you what it is. It is a podcast that is just about movie news, talking about movies, theories, getting into the nitty-gritty of all the nerdy crap that Tyler and the gang, they don't give a crap about. So we do, because we're nerdy.
We're covering the bases.
Covering all our bases. Especially third.
I think that's a sexual reference.
Yes.
I like it.
Not home. We're not going to go for home base, just third.
Third base.
Third's good enough for us.
All the titties.
Yeah, we're kind of a little too scared to go home.
Yeah, we're nerds. We're prudy.
Alright.
Prudy. So, Midnight Masterminds was formed by Aaron and myself. Katimae, you're coming up. Don't get all fidgety over there. Whenever we talk about Midnight Masterminds and we don't talk about Katimae, she gets all huffy. So we're gonna avoid that. But I'm gonna.
She gets her boys' shorts in a bunch.
Yeah.
So
got a big old wedgie over here.
So it was
favorite.
A great moment. The earth split in two when Aaron and Wyatt came together and decided to make a podcast. And we didn't know what to name it, so we used the Childish Gambino approach, and we put our names into the Wu-Tang Clan's name generator. And through a combination of, I think, like my last name and his middle name or something like that, came out the Midnight Masterminds, the coolest sounding one out of all like 40 that we looked at. So that's
Literally the only option.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. All the other ones were just total nonsense. And this one was the only one that's not. So we talk about movie news, we talk about upcoming movies, and we talk about movies that we have already seen, and we do a little review. We have a couple of segments. We are going to start with a year in review. What that means is we're going to go through pretty much all the movies of note that came out in this past year that we would have covered if we did not go barren on the podcast, because Katimae and I moved to Los Angeles.
Also, you didn't introduce me.
Oh, you're Katimae!
You just said your guys' origin story.
If that wasn't an introduction, I don't know what it is.
And then you're like, and this is our podcast.
Listen,
like,
someone named Katimae told me to keep this under an hour, and I'm trying to rush through the unimportant parts.
That doesn't mean skip me.
All right, so here's the only other part. We did the first podcast, and Aaron and I sat down, and Katimae came, and she plopped her butt down at the table when she was drunk. It was like, I want to do this too. And then gave all of her opinions to everything that we said, and now she's just a member.
I'm just a part of it.
That's the story.
That's also how I got into screenplay as well. I just like wedged myself in, and I was like, I'm a part of it.
That's how I got into high school.
That's how you got into high school.
That's how I became a high school teacher.
Interesting.
Oh.
I just started hanging out at high schools, and they gave me a job.
All right, so what's the
That sounds creepy.
first?
I'm not a teacher. I want everyone to know that I'm not a teacher.
Not yet.
In other words,
I don't want to be. I don't think I'd be good at that.
you should probably hide your children.
Not because of that. Because
I don't want to know why.
Because
Molestering me.
no. Because I think the reason I shouldn't be a teacher is because all of my knowledge is based in useless facts of film nonsense all the way back to like the 1900s.
Write this down.
Write this down. Film started in 1900. Anyway, we're gonna start with the year in review. Anything that we would have covered in the hiatus that we took during mine and Katimae's move and Aaron's subsequent move to join us out here, we're gonna cover it now in 5-second review, starting with 12 strong. Aaron, go, because I didn't see it. Go, 5 seconds.
Oh yeah, horse riding, desert.
Thor on a horse. Next, the Death Cure. No one saw that. I saw it. I didn't see the first two, and this one was okay. Next, Den of Thieves.
Wonderful. Way better than I thought it was going to be.
Pablo Schreiber is scary. Next, the 1517 to Paris. Did anyone see that?
No, Clint Eastwood.
Yeah,
Next.
Clint Eastwood made it with real people instead of actors, and it didn't do well. Surprise! Black Panther.
Amazing.
Yes, that's all we need to say.
Yeah.
Early Man. No one saw it, right?
Wanted to see it.
Wanted to see it. Looks good. No one saw it.
Isn't that like Wallace and Gromit?
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah,
Next.
the prophets show that no one saw it. Annihilation.
Nope.
Yes.
You saw it.
I thought it was
5
great.
seconds. Go.
Yeah, great. Great. Next.
Natalie Portman. Big alien bubble. Next.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay. Red Sparrow.
No.
Crappy version of the
actually,
Black Widow
the
movie?
book was great.
You read the book?
I didn't even know there was a book.
Okay, if I'm going to make a statement, it's just going to be said. You don't question me, okay? The book was great. The movie underwhelmed a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe still worth a
I'm just
worth a watch.
surprised that you read a book. Death Wish.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Anyone see Death Wish?
Death Wish, seen it.
You did?
Did.
I'm surprised Eli Roth made something not horror-y.
Well,
No, horror-y.
watch your mouth.
No, I think he's a good filmmaker.
No.
That's 5 seconds. Next. A Wrinkle in Time.
I loved it.
I did not love it.
I loved the costumes.
I didn't.
It's a movie that's only good for the costumes. Next. The Hurricane Heist.
Didn't see it.
I don't want to see it.
I have not seen it either. I just put it in here because every time I see a poster for it, I just imagine a team of people trying to steal a hurricane, and it sounds so stupid to me. I'm sure that's not what the plot is.
No, it's not what the plot is, but it actually sounds more impressive than the actual plot itself.
We gotta contain it. We gotta go.
No, we needed it so we can weaponize it. That's what I imagined.
I'm going to throw tornadoes at people.
Okay, next is Tomb Raider.
Didn't see it.
Crappy, smaller version of Tomb Raider.
Interesting. So Angelina Jolie came back?
No?
I know. Next.
Love, Simon.
Didn't see it.
Almost saw it, but I didn't see it.
Okay.
I heard that a lot of people really wanted to see it, and I did not. Next.
I wouldn't mind seeing it. I'm just gonna say that.
It does look like a good movie, and I saw an interview.
You already said next. Just say
next. No, I saw an interview with the main actor. I forget his name. He's in Jurassic World as well. He said that so many people wanted to see it, and it only got a limited release because it's kind of a smaller movie.
Yeah.
That people were like getting buses together to go to towns to go see this movie. So it must be worth something.
Interesting.
Pacific Rim Uprising.
Oh Lord.
Did you see it?
No, I want to vomit even thinking
Whoa.
about it.
Why?
Oh, all right.
It just frustrates me. The trailer makes me upset.
Jesus
It
Christ.
just makes me angry.
Okay.
Did you see it?
No, I didn't. I didn't see
Okay.
it. I saw the first Pacific Rim. Thought it would be good. Didn't see it, but it apparently looks like vomit. Next, Isle of Dog.
Loved it.
Loved it. Thought it was great.
Way better than I thought it would be.
Yes,
really good.
great.
Talking dogs are great. Ready Player One.
It was okay. Didn't like the ending.
Ooh, I haven't seen it.
Exactly what I thought it would be.
Oh, wonderful.
Next, A Quiet Place.
Amazing.
Very good.
That was
One of the
so
best movies
good.
so far.
I'm actually kind
John
of
Krasinski is
upset that they want to do a follow-up to it. But yeah, I
if
like
they
it.
do a follow-up to it, it will be garbage. That's the 5-second review.
There we
Next,
go.
Rampage. Good, crazy fun.
Just a good time.
Totally what I wanted it to be.
My childhood.
My childhood. Okay, Super Troopers 2.
Didn't see it.
I can't believe I haven't seen this yet.
Haven't
Blows
seen
my
it.
mind.
Thought it was interesting to include it because it's crowdfunded, and that always interests me.
Yeah, I want to see it.
No one has seen it. It looks good.
I mean, people have
Next.
seen it.
Next.
No one has seen it. It came out and made $0. All right, so that's it. That's a year in review. We're all caught up. Everything else we're going to talk about, at least one of us or two of us / three of us has seen. We're going to talk about some movie news before we get into the reviews. Starting with Solo. We're not going to do the review portion, but it is making news because it is severely underperforming.
Yep.
Which is surprising.
I think it's because so many people had negative thoughts about Alden. I forgot his last name.
Ehrenreich.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think that so many people are like, he's not Harrison Ford and he doesn't look like him, so he's just going to do an awful job. And then they just like wrote it off. But let me tell you, he is my Harrison Ford.
What?
Everything I wished him to be.
He is your Harrison
I
Ford.
meant Han Solo, sorry.
He is.
I'm going to take a drink
I
from this
think
cup.
he
Harrison Ford is still alive. I want everyone to know that.
He did such a good job. And I think he got the Harrison Ford mannerisms down.
So I think that this movie is performing based on what people thought it was going to be, which is bad. And it turned out to not be bad.
Well, it had some behind-the-scenes news that was very public.
More than some.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think everyone just needs to push that aside and go see it.
Well, I think that had a direct result into the marketing of it. And I think that's a big thing. I think they got so cocky. They're like, well, it's a Star Wars movie. We don't have to market it. It's like, well, I guess you do. Because I remember seeing stuff for The Last Jedi everywhere I turned. Everywhere
for a very
I went,
long time.
Yeah, like Last Jedi in my face, everywhere I went, you could not escape this movie.
Yeah.
And there were some people that I talked to that did not know that Solo existed the week it came out.
That's crazy.
So it's crazy to think that a Star Wars movie, just people don't know about it. I'm not saying that no one knew about this movie, they didn't advertise it at all, but severely under-advertised it, from my point of view.
In comparison.
Yeah, they had 2 trailers. With the movie trailer for Bohemian Rhapsody just came out. That movie's not coming out till November. So like they didn't do a lot of the groundwork, and I think it had a lot to do with the production, because the production was so troubled. They fired 2 directors.
Yeah.
They had to get an acting coach for Alden Ehrenreich. They brought in Ron Howard, who's a great director, and put together a good movie. But all this trouble, I feel like behind the scenes they're thinking like, are we going to make the release date? Should we
cut our losses?
Or or should we put a bunch of advertisement into the release date that we don't end up making?
Yeah.
So I don't know if maybe that was on their mind. Whatever it was, whatever stopped them from advertising it really hurt their opening numbers, because they might take a loss on it, like just because they weren't expecting to have such a low opening.
Yeah.
Now, of course, we know that overseas is going to do amazing. We know that,
yeah, for sure.
like, we know that when it goes for like home release, like Netflix streaming and all that stuff, it's going to make a killing.
Well, then that's the whole point of it. Maybe they're not too concerned about how it's going to play in theaters, and that's the way they went with it. That might be
so. Like for comparison, The Last Jedi opening weekend, it ended up grossing $1.3 billion worldwide. Opening weekend, it made $220 million. Wow. Solo opening weekend,
I think 103 million.
103 versus 220.
Yeah.
That's huge. And think about how they basically...
I think 148 globally is what it's saying. So.
Yeah, and it opened on Friday.
Yep.
So if The Last Jedi can do 220 and this does, we said 130?
And it's on a holiday weekend, so people would...
Yeah, so not only is it on a holiday weekend, this movie, they haven't like released the numbers for it. It'll come out one day, but they essentially made 2 movies here.
Yeah.
They shot this whole movie almost with the first 2 directors, Phil Lord and Chris Miller, and they made this movie, and then they fired these guys and brought Ron Howard, and he reshot like I think it was like 70 or 80% of the movie. So if you think about it, they really made 2 movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's performing significantly less than The Last Jedi, which is the last Star Wars movie that came out.
Do you think it's because people didn't like The Last Jedi, and so now people are like,
well, a lot of what
kind
people...
of over Star Wars.
Yeah, well, a lot of what people are saying online is that...
oversaturation.
They're thinking that people are getting Star Wars fatigue.
Yeah.
And maybe it's a good thing that the next one that comes out is not until way next year for Episode 9.
Yeah.
Episode 9 doesn't come out until December of next year. So it's going to be a year and a half before the next Star Wars movie. That might be a good thing. Because I think that's probably it. I think it's Star Wars fatigue. Because you had Rogue One, and then you had The Last Jedi, and before that you had The Force Awakens. It was like one after the other after the other.
Yeah.
I think there was at one point, we just had 2 Star Wars movies 6 months apart.
Yeah.
That's too close.
Because this is a whole new generation of Star Wars when it comes down to the actual fan base that they're going after. You have the people who are always going to be fanatics for it, and that are always going to go see all the Star Wars movies. But now you get a younger crowd that has a little bit less of an ability to just watch Star Wars movies every couple months. So that's kind of a good point.
Yeah, and I think they're kind of glutting up their own market.
And they're now competing with Marvel and all those movies.
Yeah, exactly. And those are very similar, so people are always...
It's true, but at the same time, they are competing with themselves because they're both owned by Disney.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
So, at the end of the day, losing money on this is not a bad deal at all.
No. Well, because they'll make money in the long run.
Yeah, because they're opening up Star Wars Land next year. Do you think we're going to see a spike in Star Wars interest?
Around that time period?
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
Yeah, it's probably strategically placed that way. That's a good idea, actually.
It's opening spring of next year, I believe. So it'll be before the next movie, too.
Well, there you go. Katimae cracked the code. Thanks, Katimae.
Code cracker.
I guess we're moving on to the next subject. Oh, this if you guys were worried that this was not a diverse podcast where we talk about multiple types of films, you'd be right. How many negatives did I put in there? You don't know.
I don't like it.
You said.
The next 2 pieces of information are also Star Wars. So this next one actually gets me really excited. I got the tingles. not only have they greenlit a Boba Fett movie on the same day that Solo comes out, they also name a director, James Mangold, who did Logan, The Wolverine, and Walk the Line.
That sounds sexy.
Say some shit about it.
I'm not saying no shit about it.
No shit. This is not shit. I just think that that's going to be badass no matter how it comes out. I have just a lot of faith in him as a filmmaker, especially after Logan. He's peaking. So like while he's peaking, give him something good. Like give him something really good.
Yeah, Logan was fantastic. So
yeah, he's someone who gets a character and understands it and tells a story that's true to that character. The best part about Boba Fett, he's pretty empty in terms of what we know about him, so he can fill him up with whatever he wants.
But there's a huge fan base for it, so
which I've always found to be just weird to me.
Yeah, I thought
because like he's so like he looked. I think it all comes from he looks like he should be a supreme badass, but he's never done anything remotely cool. Really think about it.
Well, he might in this new movie.
Oh, for sure. No,
if he doesn't, then that would be sad.
I would like to see that version of the movie where it's Boba Fett.
Just walks around.
It's in like Logan style, but he's just bumbling through assassinations. He just can't seem to kill anybody.
That's funny.
Because I like to live in the world where I think that Han Solo, when he got him in the carbonite and was able to take him to Jabba's palace, that was his first grab, and he's trying to play it cool, like, yeah, man, I've done this a million times, and in his head under that helmet, he's like, this is my first fucking score, man, this is so cool. And then he falls in the Snarlack pit.
What an idiot.
And this new movie is him crawling out of the Snarlack pit and just trying to ride high on his I captured Han Solo, but he was in there for so long, they're like, hey, did you know that he saved the galaxy? He's like, oh shit. And then now all he's doing is haphazardly killing people. He's trying to shoot him, but he shoots him in the knee.
So it's just like
I think that Boba Fett should be played by Seth Rogen. And it's just
he got really out of shape while he was in there.
Yeah, he's still directed by James Mangold, so I want that really cool Logan style. But I just want him to hit his head on doorways when he's walking in. I want him to get high in the background, like he's just an idiot.
I like it.
That's my version of Boba Fett.
I think that's probably why they didn't come to you for it.
My name was on the table, if you were wondering. If anyone was wondering. So anyway, any no?
Next.
No, I think that's enough. That's good.
That's enough.
Once we have more materializing, then we can talk about it.
Materialize?
I'll kill you.
Don't identify my mistakes. So, coming off the heels of the Boba Fett getting a director, Obi-Wan, and this came a little bit before it, but we didn't get a chance to talk about it, and it's still big. The Obi-Wan movie has been greenlit as well, and I'm super excited yet nervous for this movie. I'll tell you why. You guys are sitting over there looking at me like, why?
I feel
I'm just sitting here.
I'm gonna tell you why. Why? Tell me why. Why am I nervous? Why am I shaking? Why am I sweating?
You're not. First of all,
I am sweating. No, I am sweating.
Oh.
I have sweaty. What is it? Under knee? Yeah.
That's creepy.
It's gross.
Look, it's hot in here. We had to close the window to get acoustics.
Is it because of Darth Maul?
What? No.
And the death?
I think it's such a...
Oh, spoiler warning, you freaking behemoth, you jagaloon. Just throwing spoilers out there.
It's been out.
He hasn't seen it yet.
No, it's been on Rebels.
All right.
Right? Or is it Clone Wars? It's Rebels, right?
Yeah, it's on Rebels. He's over here like, fuck.
Anyway, anywho, I think that you're concerned with the polarizing figure not living up to the hype.
No, I think not.
I think not.
Why don't you just tell us?
I will tell you. So it's directed by this guy named Stephen Daldry, and you're looking at me like, who the fuck's that? Nobody knows. I don't know. He directed Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close.
Ah, very good.
And most notably, Billy Elliot Live.
Oh, well, I think that's not most notable.
AKA fucking nothing. Listen,
is that what Tom Holland was in? Billy Elliot? Because he was a ballerina.
You haven't seen Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close?
No, I have not.
Oh, well, it's fantastic. So now I'm excited, actually.
You're excited?
Dude, it's great.
That's good.
It
And
is
just, he hasn't done anything that is, I'm super excited about. You know,
haven't seen it.
I haven't seen Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close, but
I think I've seen that movie.
I looked at his.
Tom Hanks.
I went through his IMDb page, and there's just like a lot of boring dramas. It looks like to me. So I'm just hoping that I hope that this movie doesn't suck.
I want to spit in your face.
I want to grab this Stephen Daldry man by the collar and say, "You better not fuck this up. You better not do it."
I mean,
He's in way over his head. That's what I think.
Don't mess up.
wait, hold on.
What?
He directed The Hours,
Yeah, I don't
The
know.
Reader.
What's that? Yeah.
Yeah, these are great movies.
Are they?
It's in good hands.
You think so?
I know so. I feel very confident.
Billy Elliot live.
Isn't that Tom Holland?
I don't know, man.
Because I know Tom Holland did ballet for your show.
No, I think...
Am I going to sound
was
like an
that?
idiot here if I ask if a ballerina is in that like a female dancer and there's a different name for a male ballerina?
Oh, I don't know the male word.
For it?
I just know that Tom Holland did ballet.
If I ever meet Tom Holland, I go, "Oh, Tom Holland, ballerina."
Jamie Bell, who looks a lot like Tom Holland.
No, Tom Holland did ballet.
Well, that's a play, so like a lot of people have played Billy Elliot. So in that version that is on Aaron's laptop on Stephen Daldry's IMDb page, probably is Jamie Bell because he's a little older. Yeah. Tom Holland is like 20 or 21, so he would have done it most.
Yeah, because that was in 2000 is when that came out.
Yeah, yeah. Tom Holland was
but
like alive.
Jamie Bell looks a lot like Tom Holland too, though. So, in my opinion.
Well, Tom
Your
Holland.
opinion is
Anyway,
wrong.
he posts Instagram videos of him doing ballet all the time because he still got it.
Good for
Doesn't
him.
he look like Tom Holland?
Oh yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Show me that. Show me that. Not at all.
Eat my shorts.
2 out of 3. Get out of here.
Yeah.
For everyone at home, I did eat his shorts.
And you were the weakest link. Goodbye.
So I have a question for you guys.
I have 3
What should we do as fans? What should we do if they don't bring Ian McGregor back? What action should we take?
I think we should all cut off our feet in protest.
What?
Ooh, man. I don't know if I can handle stubs.
I was just gonna say.
What you made us do? We have stuff.
Yeah.
Just was gonna suggest murder. That's a way more intense.
If we can admit to the whole stub theory, I must throw my feet at this person.
We're coming for
Actually, we'll
If you
just
don't-
make them into stubs, like brat styles. We'll just, and then we'll get them little shoes that click on.
Clicky shoes.
you. What?
Interesting.
Clicky shoes.
Oh.
Yeah.
I am very nervous
I
now.
don't want to be a part of this thing.
Next.
Next topic. Spider-Man Homecoming 2. It's gonna exist, so live with that.
Is that with Jamie Bell?
Yeah,
the real
not a lot
life
of people
Jamie
know
Bell.
that.
Okay, so Spider-Man Homecoming 2, the villain is most likely going to be Mysterio, which I, for one, am extremely excited about. Regardless of who's going to play him, which we'll get to in a second, that's a great choice for a villain.
I think a lot of people will get upset that are really close to the comics about Mysterio because they feel like he always underperforms as a villain.
Yes.
But
I love characters and things that have a tremendous amount of potential that have not been used yet. He's an illusionist. The character in the comics, he's a failed special effects artist.
Yep.
So he is a master of illusion, where Doctor Strange actually is a master of the mystic arts, and that's crazy. He can pretty much make it damn near think that you're seeing what Doctor Strange can do.
Yes.
And what's scarier about that is he's good at deception, so while you're busy dealing with whatever contraption or illusion that he's set up, he's making off with the money right behind your back.
Yeah.
That's a cool idea.
And that's a lot of his motivations, is fame and money and things like that. Which actually probably going to be able to tap home with the way that we are now today as a society.
That's what I mean.
Which is
It's such a great idea. Also with the whole culture of fake news and fake this and blah blah blah, all this there's so many
really
ways
huge right now. It's really huge.
Huge. It's huge.
Huge.
Said with the tiniest hands. I think that's a great idea for a villain for more reasons than one. And I wish that the original version of Mysterio that was gonna be in Spider-Man 4 came out. So when Spider-Man 4 was gonna come out, and it was still in the hands of Sam Raimi and Tobey Maguire, that crew.
Yep.
It was the villain was gonna be the Vulture, so that carried over into the next one.
Yeah.
With the one with Tom Holland. They were going to have like a little opening montage that skimmed over many, many years of Spider-Man being Spider-Man and fighting more than just the two villains that he had fought after that, or 3 or 4. Mm-hmm. After Sandman and Venom, pretty much. And it was you're going to see a whole, just like a sideshow act of all these different villains causing havoc through New York before the Vulture storyline kicks in. That was going to be like the whole opening bit. And one of them was going to be Mysterio, and Spider-Man foils his plan, and he rips off the helmet, and it's Bruce Campbell underneath. And that would have been so cool, because he had just done the other 3 cameos, and that would have tied them all together so perfectly.
Yes, yeah.
Because he was the guy who gave Spider-Man his name in the first one, and then the second one, what did he do in the second one? Crap. Oh no, he was the usher at the play, Mary Jane's play, and then he was also the French waiter at the restaurant where he proposes to Mary Jane, or was going to propose to Mary Jane. So him being Mysterio would have been perfect because he was playing all of those people as characters. That was the whole angle. They were planning that all along. That was so cool. You can have little fun things like that, but it will not be played by Bruce Campbell. They're courting Mr. Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh yeah, I heard that.
The one, the only, the Gyllenhaal.
The hula head.
Actually, there's more than one Gyllenhaal, but that's fine.
Maggie is inferior.
Oh, that's sad.
I thought it was going to be me.
Katimae Gyllenhaal?
No.
What?
I like it.
As, what's his name? Mysterio?
You thought you were going to play Mysterio?
Yeah.
Don't you think you'd have had a conversation with Marvel Studios?
No.
No? No. I just thought that they'd send me a script and go, be here at this day, don't fuck it up. That's the...
Yeah, that's how you become an actor.
That's the process. They send you the shit and they go, we saw you in a grocery store, you have the look, you have the you have what it takes, kid, this is on an email. And then and there's a PDF for a script. Memorize your lines by this day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't be late.
Yeah, isn't that how it works? I'm just waiting.
Yes, you got it. Basically, Jake Gyllenhaal got that email, and he's on the fence.
It's like Hogwarts letters.
Yeah. I don't know the whole story or what they're trying to figure out. It's probably muddy because he's at the height of his career right now. But Aaron is probably Jake Gyllenhaal's biggest fan. He actually, this is not a joke. This is not fanfare. This is not me trying to do a bit.
No,
he has a Jake Gyllenhaal tattoo.
True, and it's in a place where the sun don't shine.
Your pit?
Exactly. Exactly. I actually have 2, one on each armpit, and with different characters.
This, Jake, and then on the other one, Gyllenhaal?
No, not the name. I have beautiful portraits.
Oh.
Yeah.
Portraits.
I thought it would be like a heart.
Like left and right profile, just like the side of his face.
Yeah, exactly. But, we're not going to tell anybody about that. So.
No. So, from the man with the Gyllenhaal tattoos, that's your nickname now. What do you think about this? How's he going to do? Is he going to do a good job? Is he the right fit?
I mean, I'm biased, so I'm obviously going to say that he's, going to be the best and do fantastic. I do think it's actually a good role for him because he's kind of really does serious dramas or thrillers, things like that. But he has range to do anything, so he can absolutely pull this off. People are wondering if it's going to be more of like a Nightcrawler type performance. Right. He has a ton of options to go from. There's obviously a long history with this villain, so he has the ability to make his own character, which I hope he does.
Yep.
I hope he doesn't just follow the comics or something like that. Which I'm sure he'll do his research. So.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll do his research and he'll figure it out, and he will put a little bit of him in there. He'll put his own spin on it. I think it's a great choice because he's in a DiCaprio kind of way, like a chameleon. Mm-hmm. Whatever you need him to do, he'll adapt into it. As opposed to, no offense, if you hire like a Chris Pratt, you know what you're getting.
Yeah.
Right? Like you know exactly what you're getting.
That's why you love Chris Pratt.
Yeah. Well, because it's
oh, yeah, absolutely.
You want that, right?
Yeah.
That's why you hire that, but you hire Gyllenhaal because you know that he can do.
Yeah, he's been the aggressor in roles. He's been somebody who's very fragile in certain roles.
Watch Nightcrawler and watch Southpaw back to back. That is not the same guy.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
Physically, emotionally, even his speech pattern is completely different.
Literally, he lost a bunch of weight, for the Nightcrawler
Yeah,
role.
exactly.
And then turned into a beast for the Southpaw role.
Yeah, literally a beast.
Yeah.
Like a freaking animal.
Yeah.
So whatever they have cooked up over at Marvel for that character, he's going to pull it off.
For sure.
He's going to figure it out.
Yeah, for
so
sure.
That I'm happy. I'm super happy about that.
And with the success of the first film, I always feel like this is going to be an opportunity to follow up strong. You have to.
Well, I think the next way you can kind of go after Spider-Man, because of the first one, a lot of people criticized it for being like really soft.
Yeah.
But I loved it.
Well, it's a good movie.
He's just a kid.
Spider-Man 1 and 2 from like 2002 and 2004, they were really like hard-hitting emotional movies. That's what makes them so like relatable.
Yeah.
A lot of people weren't relating to Homecoming because it was really soft, not really relatable. There wasn't a whole lot of conflict for him. Like, essentially, if he had just backed off, Iron Man would have ended up taking care of everything. That you kind of find that out in the middle.
But he's also just a kid.
Oh, for sure. But
That's
the
why
next
I liked
way,
it.
the next way you go after Spider-Man, a kid where there aren't a whole lot of stakes, you go after him psychologically, and that's what Mysterio can pull off.
Yeah.
Yes.
He can mess with your brain. That's what's going to be interesting.
Yeah, he's never gonna have a physical advantage over him. It's always gonna be the play the mind kind of thing, which is a challenge that a young kid or somebody who's getting older is not going to be able to handle that situation. So it makes it actually more of a harder enemy to have.
Exactly. That's what I'm getting at.
Exactly.
I'm getting at you have a teenager who's in a very fragile state.
Is this after Infinity War?
Yeah. So whatever happens in Infinity War, he's not going to be. He's going to come back from that being a changed person.
Yeah.
Now you can deal with that almost in a PTSD kind of way, messing with somebody who literally just died and somehow came back to life.
Spoilers.
Look, that movie's a month old. All right, let's.
Oh, but you gave me a hard time.
Solo came out 2 days ago. Oh my god.
That wasn't the spoiler. I was talking about the Rebels show.
The Rebels.
I wasn't even talking about Solo.
Oh, now you're backing up, huh?
Yeah,
Fight me.
I will later. So, what's next?
Next, Sesame Street is suing the movie Happy Time Murders.
Which is hilarious.
Absolutely effing hilarious.
So, the only background you need on this is the tagline that they're using on the poster for Happy Time Murders. And if you don't know what it is, it's basically, well, the tagline is all sesame, no street. Or, sorry, all no sesame, all street. Is that what? Yeah, no sesame, all street.
Yeah.
Just sesame.
Just sesame.
A bunch of sesame seeds.
Yeah.
That's the movie.
Yeah.
They just fall down.
It's just raining. What is it? No Sesame, all street, right? Mm-hmm. And it's basically them poking fun at Sesame Street, saying like this is the adult version of this. So you have the movie is a dark and not dark, but it's a gritty, over sexualized, like really gross version of a detective story or like cop drama with Sesame style or Sesame Street style puppets or like Muppet style puppets, right? Yeah. It's directed by the son of Jim Henson, so it has that kind of style to the puppets. Mm-hmm. He knows how to use the puppets. He grew up around it. Yeah. But he's bringing a very interesting take to it, and it looks hysterical. The movie looks really funny. Yeah.
Melissa McCarthy in it.
Yeah, for sure. And Sesame Street is not happy about the tagline, so they're suing them, which can only help the movie because I would have never known this movie existed unless I heard about the lawsuit. Yeah. And that just makes me root for the movie and want to see the movie more.
For sure.
Because no one is implying that Sesame Street is bad or negative or like bringing down what they do. It's really
it really has nothing to do with.
Yeah. If they were being malicious towards Sesame Street, I guess maybe I would be upset about it. But
then you would see like Big Bird. Or like,
but these are all brand new puppets, brand new characters, and it's just a style of puppet that looks like Sesame Street. They're only in trouble because of the tagline. Yeah. So,
it's like if these puppets were real people and never actually made it on Sesame Street, and then took a really hard turn in their life.
Yeah, they're like Sesame Street style puppets that are like prostitutes, and detectives, and. I will not bring up how or why. Just go ahead and watch the trailer. There's a lot of silly string in this movie.
And next.
All right, this week's cinematic topics. We're going to talk some Infinity War. Probably not too much because we don't want to say too many things that you've probably heard already. Deadpool 2. 13 Reasons Why. That's where I get to shut up because I haven't seen it.
Well, you saw the first season.
I saw the first season. Have not seen the second season. Yeah, and we're going to talk about the biggest release, the one that's been weighing on my mind since I've seen it, Show Dogs.
Oh, Lord.
And then we'll talk about what's coming out soon. So, let's start with Infinity War. Aaron.
Yes.
I want you to talk about Infinity War.
Let's talk about it. I mean, I thought it had a very difficult task to achieve with...
It had to exist.
Yeah, but it had to exist in this world with so many main characters, and it's kind of like, you know, when you're talking about in theory of basketball, there's only one ball to use, so you got to be able to. There's only one person that can be on frame. You feel that can kind of capture the story, but they definitely did a great job of kind of dishing it out to everybody, and you know, this world that they've spent a lot of time creating. I feel like they did a service to it. They did a very good job.
I agree, completely agree.
Wyatt and I saw it 5 times.
That's correct. We broke a record.
We broke our record. I loved it. I think if you're mad at Star-Lord, you need to check yourself.
Whoa. I'm mad at Star-Lord.
Because he's just very complicated, and if you're mad at him, you just don't know the character.
Just his human side. You know?
How dare you accuse me of not knowing the character?
Well, I'm just saying.
I want to say that I'm not mad at Star-Lord. I'm disappointed in Star-Lord.
Okay. Okay, Dad. I'm disappointed in you.
I'm disappointed in you.
I loved it. I thought it had just the right amount of humor, but it didn't go over the top, which I was a little worried about. Because sometimes, you know, movies will be like, humor, and then just like dark stuff. But it was nice and even.
It was, I think the Russo brothers did the impossible here. Mm-hmm. And they found a way to juggle all these characters in a way that didn't make it feel crowded.
Yeah. And I loved the color schemes that we got with each group of the characters. Because each group of characters had like their own tone and like colors.
Kind of like watching 3 different movies.
Yeah.
Which is not a bad thing.
No.
At all. I really enjoyed it.
No. But yeah, I loved it.
Yeah. I don't think there's a whole lot really to say about it that hasn't been said online in reviews or podcasts already. There's a lot of theories out there. They just released a high-resolution version of the set photo from Part 2 that reveals a lot of plot details and spoilers. I can go into it if you want. Katimae doesn't want to hear it, though.
No spoilers here.
Doesn't want to hear it, though. But you can check it out. I just saw it like surface up today. I saw the photo a long time ago, but it was like a blurry, crappy version of the photo. But it gives you, just the one picture gives you a really clear idea of where the next one's going, and I'm very excited about it. So if this is the first you're hearing of said photo, look it up if you care.
Or don't.
I mean, it's interesting, so to do it.
All right, next.
Next, Deadpool 2. Pretty fresh, pretty new.
Loved it.
Thought it was great.
Fantastic.
I don't understand how people are polarized on this movie. It delivers everything that it promised to deliver. Even in the ending credits scene of the first Deadpool, where he said it'll be great, Cable will be there. Like, he delivered on everything they promised. Yeah. They got an incredibly competent and very talented director to come in and do it, and he did what he does best.
And the amount of cameos are greatly distracting.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And just to enunciate how polarizing this movie is, in the middle of Deadpool repeatedly dying over and over and having a really good, it's in true Deadpool fashion. If he were to die, he would, die like 15 times.
Yeah.
And have an emotional speech every single time that he died. Someone got up in my theater, or mine and Katimae's theater, and said, "Fuck this movie!" and then walked out of the theater and just muttering to himself, "Fuck this fucking stupid movie," yelling it as he's walking out. We thought that it was like some kind of bit. He just never came back. And I was like, how can you be upset at this movie? It's been nothing but enjoyable. And then I look up online later on, and some of the reviews for some people are saying that it's fantastic, a true follow-up to the original, and some people are really hating on it, and I don't understand their point of view. Usually I'm sympathetic to other people's point of view, and I'm like, oh, I see where they're coming from. Mm-hmm. That's an educated... It's like, no, nothing.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I think it's I think it did very well. It's tough to come up after the first one too,
because it was a phenomenon when it
came out. Exactly, because of what it had to overcome to actually achieve that. And then he picked on everything in that whole universe, which is hilarious, and then even made fun of himself and
for sure.
That. Like, it did things that certain movies wouldn't be able to do by breaking certain barriers, as you would say.
Yeah. I love the James Bond opening sequence. That was one of my favorite parts. What a smart thing to do. The Brad Pitt cameo obviously is to die for.
Did you hear that he took like the lowest amount of money to do that?
Did you hear like the requirements he had to take that cameo?
Oh, with the coffee.
Yeah, so like spoilers for the movie obviously at this point. If you don't know, we're spoiling everything. So Brad Pitt agreed to do the cameo, but he didn't really want to get paid. His only requirement was a cup of coffee for while he's there, while he's working. And it had to be procured by Ryan Reynolds personally.
That is hilarious.
That's the only reason he did it.
And he took like the lowest amount that an actor
He did it
can
for
get.
he did it for scale, which is basically what SAG requires you to get paid to keep your SAG card.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. So that's hilarious to me.
I
I
thought
mean,
that was pretty cool too.
yeah, I mean, because I feel like for someone to ask for that much money, I'm looking at you, Vin Diesel. I'll talk about that in a second, freaking dickhead. For you to take that much money for one day's worth of work is just kind of like a dickhole move, Vin Diesel. So he got paid more than any other actor on Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. That dude worked for one day.
That's crazy.
That's disgusting. To me.
He
works for one day.
And he's not even close to being.
And he's done it
the most
so many
talented.
times that they don't even need him to do it anymore. He's recorded I Am Groot something like over like 1,000 some odd times.
That's ridiculous.
Just use any of them. Like, why do you need to keep bringing this man in and giving him all your money?
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
I don't get this. I don't get the marketing strategy there. I just learned that today because I was researching like stuff for the show, and I came across that just by coincidentally. Wasn't even looking for it. I'm like, what? And I pulled it open, and I guess it's somewhere in his contract that he gets some kind of a payout based on how much the movie makes. And Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 made a buttload of money, and yeah, he made more than like Chris Pratt did.
That's awful.
He worked for one day.
Because he doesn't even do the motion capture for it.
No, he doesn't. He's not even on set. He just comes in and he does his voice and then he fucks off.
What about Bradley Cooper?
He doesn't make as much as Vin Diesel. Vin Diesel says, I am Groot. And Bradley Cooper does a full-on voice performance that takes more than one day.
And does he wear the motion capture?
Yeah, he has to wear a motion capture face.
Yeah, when he does the lines.
Yeah.
And then, what's his name? Sean Gunn?
Sean Gunn does it on set.
Yeah.
He does the physical movements. He even reads the lines so that the other actors can play off them.
Wow.
And then
It's
Bradley Cooper has to wear like a helmet that has a camera in front of it with a bunch of dots. So like it's a process. He's putting in work.
Yeah.
I hate Vin Diesel.
All right, next.
13 Reasons Why. I'm going to
13
pass the ball
Reasons
to you guys because I have not seen season 2. All I know is that people hate it. That's all I know.
Well, I haven't finished season 2 because it's a really hard show to watch.
Process.
And so
Hard because it blows?
No,
Or hard because it's sad?
It's sad. It talks about really hard topics. It talks about topics that I've personally
dicks.
gone through.
Oh, sorry.
I did hear though that the ending is just awful.
I will say that I read a spoiler online. Again, not something I was looking for, but like an article
Right.
came up. And I read the kind of like a play-by-play of what the last scene is.
Yeah.
Sounds unnecessarily graphic.
Yeah.
Aaron's seen it, so I don't know.
And I'm not gonna.
And I don't.
spoil
It's.
this for
I
you,
read it.
obviously.
I read it out of context, so I don't know. I could be way off base.
You're at episode 8. You said right
Yeah.
now. So there's a build up happening.
Right.
And I'm sure you can
Like
kind of
season
figure
1.
out what's
Yeah.
going on. My whole thing about it is, I like that the story's continued, and I think it's important that they take these characters because these are important characters for people right now that have carried on from season 1. Like people are relating to them now. But then they're like bringing in other context and kind of telling a whole nother story compared to the first season.
It's like
it's
Leo.
not as I'm not as invested in
Right.
these stories as I am in the first season.
Because it's kind of all over the place.
And it kind of dilutes the first season as well. So I think it's important to to stick to a certain story and not dilute it the way that they did it. That's the only things my only reservations against it. I still thought it was something I would watch, but I would probably put it further down the list to watch as a priority, in my opinion.
Right. Right.
I mean, I saw season 1 and I enjoyed it a lot. I binged it in like 2 days.
Which is hard to do.
Yeah.
It's a hard
I did it
show
in-
to watch.
I did it in one day, and that
that's
was
a
an
hard
emotional
show.
roller coaster.
Yeah.
I watched it and I remember walking away from it going like that was truly good. Like there were some parts of it that were super campy, but I mean like they're trying to aim for every quadrant here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So of course you're gonna do that. And then when I heard that season 2 was coming out, my knee-jerk reaction was, what in the hell could that even be about?
Well, because they ended it on a lot of stuff. A lot of people wanted closure on it. But what I wanted to bring up about 13 Reasons Why is the hate it's getting with its graphic context and its stuff and how it glorifies everything. But in my opinion, it really helped me find help the first season. And so I think it's important that we have a show like this. And now they have that warning in front. And now they have like worksheets online that you can print out and like talk to with people.
Yeah, it's doing more good than it is bad, and like it's not trying to provoke certain feelings that are gonna be negative. It's actually like giving everybody any opportunity to understand more.
Right.
It's a good.
If I can play
it's therapeutic. Yeah.
devil's advocate, because I haven't seen season 2 at all.
It's not even about season 2. It's just like 13 Reasons Why is
In
now
general.
back in the news and it's getting hate again.
Yeah, because season 1 got a lot of hate as well.
Right.
And they put a disclaimer in the front of it. And if you're really worried about your kids seeing it, then don't have them watch it. I mean,
Absolutely.
I don't understand why we need to censor content because your kids might see it. It's a choice. You can use it as a tool if you want to. I don't understand why we're even thinking about censoring a show like this.
Yeah, that's a parenting decision. That's not a...
Exactly. That's my point.
Yeah.
I don't stop I don't have kids, but I wouldn't stop a child of mine from seeing... I would for seeing this show in particular, but a movie like Logan, rated R, super graphic, totally different story. Why aren't we talking about, well, what superhero movie shouldn't be rated R? But that's... I don't think that. I think that Logan's an amazing movie, and Deadpool, but...
Yeah, because that happened with Deadpool. People are bringing their kids, and they're like, "Oh my god, it's so graphic."
But
So
here's the point about that. It's frustrating because I think this is kind of the thing that frustrates me with the country that we live in today. Is it's everybody's also service about this stuff, and you say, okay, this is a superhero film. I can bring my kids to this, or this is a film with high school kids, so I should be able to let my high schooler watch it or middle schooler watch it. Well, do your research. Be more involved in your kids' lives.
Yeah.
And allow them to see the content that you feel confident that they should be able to do. Invest yourself in your children, and you're not going to have that problem. So shame on you if you have a problem with it.
Yeah.
Because if you're not going to, do the research on any topic, even for yourself or for your kids, then shame on you.
Yeah, and this is not done distastefully at all. It's well made. It's well researched. Katimae told me the other day, I didn't even know this, they work with therapists when they write this show. So it's not coming from an uneducated standpoint.
Yeah.
It's very, they know what they're doing.
And each and every character, you can tell they're probably changed by this project more than a lot of other projects that they do. They become advocates for this.
Yeah.
And that's important.
And they do.
And I'll play devil's advocate again just to stir the pot. A lot of people are concerned because some copycat suicides came about because of this show.
Yeah.
Well,
That's where the big fear comes in.
then you can come in with the parents again, like
Yeah.
maybe because you don't have open conversations or you don't know what they're watching or what they're doing.
Absolutely.
And that's kind of what 13 Reasons Why hits on,
That's the
is
exact
that
point. The communication of
is
it.
communication with parents and children.
Exactly. That's what me playing devil's advocate at all to bring
Yep.
that up is just to come
Absolutely.
home and say the whole point of the show, if you were to watch it and pay attention, is be involved.
Yeah.
If your kid gets to the point where they're going to commit suicide and they're going to do it in a copycat way because of a show they watched that somehow got to them, then the whole point of that show, if you were to go ahead and watch it, because if my kid copied a show and did that, I would go, well, what the hell did they watch that made them want to do this? I would watch it and go, oh, fuck, this is my fault. Because the whole point is look for the signs. The whole point of the show is the signs were there and nobody was picking up on them.
Exactly. That's the whole point. A TV show is never going to be the single sole reason why somebody decides to take their own life.
Exactly.
Right.
And it even comes down to like a whole like political factor of it. If you think that somebody that you're going to elect into any office is going to really make an impact in your daily lives, it's very rare that that's going to happen.
It doesn't happen almost ever.
Exactly. So maybe if you be more aware, and it's on people as a community. So anybody that you're involved with on a daily basis, that's if you care about them, that's your opportunity. It doesn't have to be a mother or father or a brother or sister. Anybody that you care about, if you invest into it and you pay attention now, because maybe this opened your eyes. And that's the important conversation that needs to be happening. So if we're having that dialogue that wasn't happening before, and that is the good part about this oversaturated market that we have now with you can have Netflix, you can stream stuff, and some people get frustrated about it because they feel like, oh, there's lesser content. Well, yeah, you could probably get that, but you also now have the ability to have a message spread that you couldn't do when we were growing up as kids.
Right.
And that's the important part. And honestly, our generation is the one who's been struggling with this, understanding this mental situation. I feel like that people have been struggling with for years. They just haven't been able to pinpoint it. Now it's becoming more of a conversation.
Right.
And now there's good dialogue behind it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that what's interesting about it is that it's brought up this conversation, and when you hear people talking about the show, season 1, 2, or just the show in general, no one really talks about the quality of the show, how good it is, or what they're talking about. What conversations people are having about the subject matter. And I think that this is a show that completely subverts the show itself. What I mean by that is we're talking about season 2 and we haven't even gotten to the plot yet. We've had an incredible discussion about it.
Absolutely.
It's doing what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to bring up a conversation. It's supposed to make people talk about it.
Because even if you hate it or love it, you're going to talk about it,
Yeah.
and it's going to bring up the conversation.
Absolutely.
I think it's doing what it was intended to do. I think I saw little bits of season 2 because you were watching it. And it just looks to me that season 1 seems to be a lot more tighter storytelling, better storytelling, and season 2 is more of just another way to bring up the conversation and bring up other parts of that whole world as well.
Yeah. Yep. It's not my favorite. I want to finish it because I do like 13 Reasons Why.
Yeah.
But I find it sometimes a little hard to follow because it's so many different things going on.
Yeah, I felt looking at it, because when I watch something, I can't turn off that side of my brain that wants to look at it like from the filmmaker side of it.
Right.
And that to me, I was like, oh, it's leaning too much on the events or topics that they're talking about, and instead of actually developing these characters better than what they could. And I think that's the only critique I have of it is I'm disengaged from the second season more than I am from the first season, because exactly what you're saying, it's not as tighter on the
Yeah, that's just what I observed from watching like maybe 20 minutes of one episode.
Yeah.
Because it's not fair for me to give an analysis of it because I haven't seen more than an entire episode. But it just seems to me that it's not super linear, as in it's not telling the stories completely in order. Or at least in one episode, it's just it jumps around too much.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me, like I said in the beginning, was it just dilutes too much of the first season.
I think there seems to be that they're relying too much on the events of season 1, which is what I was afraid of way in the beginning when I brought this topic up to begin with, was where do you go from after season 1, tied up pretty neatly, if you ask me.
Yeah.
I know Katimae said a lot of people had some unanswered questions, things they wanted to bring up again.
Well, there's a season 3 now they're already talking about it.
Well, maybe I should see season 2.
That's the
but
thing.
It seems to me like you tie up something so neatly like that. Where do you go without creating a new story?
Right.
Yeah. I think you can create a whole new story, maybe even with new characters.
Right.
That touches on similar subject matter in a new and another creative way. But if I'm not mistaken, this was based on a book, right? 13 Reasons Why?
The
Correct.
first season.
Yeah,
A book that's been out for a very long time, actually.
Yeah.
So 13 Reasons Why is a book, and that's been out. So you have a really tight, really well-made season 1, season 2, and then subsequently season 3. They're not based on anything. Am I wrong in saying that?
Well, no. Season 2 doesn't give a solution to what happened. So like,
I'm saying there's not based on like a sequel to the book.
No.
So
Yeah.
what I'm
It's
saying
just
is
kind of
its own
like
life.
now you're taking the creators and you're giving them control over the story, which when you, in my opinion, anytime a series does that, it really runs the risk of going off the rails, because a book is tighter storytelling.
Things have already happened too with season 3. Like Catherine Langford, the main character really of the first season, who if you haven't seen it by now, then that'd be surprising. But the main character who takes her own life is not going to be on season 3. She's decided she's not going to be a part of that.
She's not coming back at all?
No, not for season 3.
Which is probably good.
Exactly. So it does give it an opportunity to hopefully breathe its own life and kind of do that. But I'm still not as engaged now as I was from season 1.
I would like to see them just do almost like an anthology approach. Not, I'm going to say True Detective, only in style, not in
nature,
execution, maybe. Because by execution I mean season 2 was pretty like a slog, I guess you could say. It's hard to.
There were so many elements to it that didn't help it.
Yeah, it's hard to attach yourself to it. It's not bad filmmaking or anything like that.
Yeah. Season 3's coming though.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So they're doing it like an anthology. So season 1, 2 detectives, their own story, ties up very perfectly, very neatly, just like the first season of 13 Reasons Why. Then you have season 2 of True Detective, which has its own season, ties up neatly, well, somewhat neatly, and then That's it. That's a story. Then we're on to season 3, which is going to be new characters, new setting, new story, everything. Why can't we do that with 13 Reasons Why? Because True Detective is focusing on a particular subject matter. They're telling it. They're playing in the same sandbox. It's set in the same universe. Mm-hmm. They're telling a detective story. It's about a crime, whatever, right? 13 Reasons Why. You have social hot button social topics, right? Yeah. Suicide. Season 2 seems to be about rape, if I'm not mistaken, right? At least that's what it's leading to.
It has way more than that. Like it has. There's a lot of things going on in the country right now. It come down to talks about gun violence, things like that.
For sure. I think you can have a season 2 or a season 3 where it's at a completely different school.
New characters.
And it can be new characters, new everything, and just weave a new story.
Well, I think the problem, too, is that a lot of people, I think mostly teenagers, kids, got attached to the characters in season 1. Yeah. Because if you go on Tumblr, there's so many fandom pages for them. Mm-hmm. Like, endless amounts.
It's like that with True Detective season 1. That's still regarded as one of the best seasons of TV ever created. Yeah. And people love that, but
you also don't have teenage girls who are diehard fans.
Yeah, this is more of something way past what any TV series gives. This is not even about a TV series anymore. It's about the help that it gave. Yeah. And the message that it sent out.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that was a good conversation.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's press on, shall we?
We shall.
Just like the first season of 13 Reasons Why. Tied up neatly, nicely. So, the big topic. The one we've been building to, we've been alluding to, we've been dreaming about, thinking about. It's certainly been on my mind since I saw it. Show dogs.
Oh, frustrating.
Did you see it?
No.
Oh, man. Okay.
Let's masterpiece.
Let's please not spend more than like a minute on this because it fucking hurt me to watch this movie. It's directed by the guy who directed the first 2 Scooby-Doo movies. Oh, so if that gives you anything...
Already going to be amazing.
Yeah.
Look, as a kid, I was really into the first Scooby-Doo. I thought it was excellent. And then I watched it again somewhat recently, and I realized that it's not good. It's not good. So, this movie is... There's so much I want to say about it.
It's great. I thought it was just a fun time. It's just a movie you don't have to think about.
Oh, I thought about it.
You see some talking dogs and you go home.
Oh,
and
Lord.
I loved it.
It is about a dog and Will Arnett. I don't know the character's name. It's not important.
He's an agent.
He's an FBI agent who doesn't know how to do anything. This FBI, I'm surprised this man can tie his effing shoes.
That is true.
So, it's about an FBI agent that... It bewilders me how this man got into the Federal Bureau of Investigation. He doesn't carry anything with him. He never even had a badge. He just was a dude walking around. And he... So, at one point... I'm going to talk about the plot, but I just had to get this out before I forget it. There's at one part of the movie that this FBI agent... who's supposed to take his trained New York Police Department dog with him to a dog show in Las Vegas.
Oh, Lord.
He's supposed to take it with him and supposed to compete so that they can do an investigation while they're doing the competition, right? Mm-hmm. They get there and the dog, in his world, I'm going to tell it from his perspective because the audience knows what the dog is saying. From his perspective, humans can't understand dogs. So the dog is just barking, barking, barking. He pulls over the car, and the dog gets out and leaves, and he goes, well, all right. And then he leaves. He just doesn't try and collect the dog. He just goes, all right, well, I'll catch you later. He actually says that. I'll see you later. I'll see you at the competition. And then he goes to the competition where he's supposed to meet with this, animal trainer. And the animal trainer's like, hey, where's the dog? And he's like, I didn't bring my dog. Can I borrow a dog? And she's like, you think that I just got a fucking dog laying around? A show dog?
It's played by the girl from Orange is the New Black.
Oh,
the crazy hair. I forget her name.
I don't know her name.
Natasha, I think.
So he just walks in and says, can I borrow a dog? And she's like, I don't have just dogs laying around that can compete in tournaments.
He's like, is there a rent-a-dog around here?
And,
and it's set in Vegas.
So, yeah, that's the world. That's what we're dealing with. So basically, I mean, a lot of the plot came out in there. This like Will Arnett has to team up with this dog, and they have to go
Save a panda.
save a stolen panda.
Oh.
So
That's the plot.
first of all, every animal in this world can talk except for the panda. That made no fucking sense to me. No one understands the panda, but you can listen to a fucking pigeon for some
Pandas
reason.
don't speak.
Pandas
Wyatt.
don't speak. So
If you want to watch a panda speak, you watch Kung Fu Panda.
You're also doing more than a minute on Show Dog.
listen, I'm heated, okay?
Yeah.
I'm triggered. So what I also didn't get about this fucking movie is that you can hear like the dogs and humans, like the dogs can understand humans and they try and talk to them all the time. But they know that humans can't understand them.
I think you're too angry about this movie.
It's
not
so I can't believe it.
deserving
It's
of
like
your time.
it's like if you and imagine if you could hear and understand dogs, but you
First of
knew,
all, I can hear and understand dogs.
but you knew that they can't hear and understand you. Will you spend your whole fucking day trying to have a conversation with it?
Absolutely.
I'll just go stand next to the wall and go, "Hey, what do you think about this, pal?" It does no, because I know it's not going to understand me. Yet all this
It's a kid's movie.
this dog detective runs around all day having conversations with humans, and they're like, "What is the dog doing? It's barking at me." And I don't understand. He's supposed to be a cop dog, and then
Oh Lord.
oh man, and then at some point in the middle of the movie, this show dog that is teaching the cop dog how to be a show dog, played by Stanley Tucci, is having a heart to heart with his old trainer who he ran into at the tournament, and in that one moment, this man spoke dog. He goes over and is like, "I'm sorry for my actions, and you know I was heated back then or whatever," and he's like, "I forgive you." I'm like, "What the fuck? All of a sudden you can speak dog?" And I almost walked out, and then a couple minutes later, this like weird dream sequence happened where
Oh, yeah, I forgot about
where the
that.
police dog went to his happy place, and it was clearly just Will Arnett in front of a green screen doing a bunch of weird, crazy John Mayer shit.
Oh, no.
And it's amazing. I recommend this movie to everybody. It's a good
I
time.
will not be partaking in this
If
movie.
you have Movie Pass, just use it.
Just
go see a
go,
movie.
man. Go see Show Dogs.
All right, next.
Okay, out soon. Who's excited for Action Point?
I am.
That's coming out this weekend. I'm really excited for Action
Oh,
Point.
it's coming out this weekend?
Mm-hmm. I'm very excited for Action
What's
Point.
today's date for the people at home?
Today's date? Oh, today, as of today, it is the 29th of
No,
May.
it's the 28th.
28th of May.
Lies.
Which one is a lie?
I don't know. One of you.
Well,
I think
whatever.
it's the 28th. It's Memorial Day.
It is the 28th.
I knew it.
Oh.
There you go. So Action Point looks cool to me because it is.
It's based off a real park.
Yeah, it's based off a real park, which I would
In
love
New
to have gone
Jersey.
to. Yeah.
It was in New Jersey.
Back in the day, that it closed down and it
6
had.
people died at this park.
Yeah.
Ooh.
In a very short amount of time, it was open. 6 people died. Hundreds
I already
of people
feel like
were
it's perfect
injured.
casting then, if that's the
Yeah,
backstory.
it is
to
all
it.
real
Yeah.
stunts.
Yeah, that's what makes it great. So Johnny Knoxville got a lot of his Jackass crew together, and he said, "Let's make a movie about this park, and let's do all the stunts for real."
Yeah.
And they're telling a real narrative story while doing these
Real
crazy
stunts.
stunts themselves
yeah.
while telling a real story. That's genius.
Yep.
They could have not picked a better project to do. So I'm really pumped for it. Ocean's 8.
I'm excited.
I'm very excited for it, yeah.
I'm ready. I'm excited that it's an all-girl team. And I love all the girls that are in it. And Frank is excited too.
If you're hearing a in the background, we have 2 guinea pigs, and they are getting it on.
Getting it
We're
on.
excited for Show Dogs. Okay. Incredibles 2.
Yes, I'm ready.
It looks good. The only thing I want to point out is the last 2 seconds of the trailer. Mr. Incredible and...
Jack.
No, Mr. Incredible and whatever character Samuel L. Jackson plays. Hey, calm down. Hey, that's okay. You're good. Whatever character Samuel L. Jackson
Frozen.
plays.
Fomo.
Whatever his name is.
It's
Whatever.
actually FOMO.
FOMO?
He just never wants to miss out on the fun.
They clearly changed the dialogue from the movie to what the trailer is, and the lips don't match up at all, and it seems real sloppy for Pixar. And
I didn't even notice that.
It's super annoying. If you haven't noticed it, watch the last part where he goes, "I'm going to be there ASAP," or whatever, and it just doesn't match up, and it's really distracting. Anyway, still looks really good. I'm
So
super
that
excited.
frustrates you.
Yeah.
All right, next.
All about the details. Tag.
I actually can't remember what this movie is.
What?
Aaron?
Tag looks good. Tag looks like it's going to be something that you would like because you can go there. You don't have to worry about too much detail that you have to pay attention to. It's just something you can enjoy.
I like those movies.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's a buddy comedy where pretty much these.
It's based on a true story. Fun fact.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Where these guys who are friends growing up, they have this pretty much lifelong game of tag going on, and then they're going through certain events in their lives.
Yeah, and the big crux of the story is that Jeremy Renner, who's like the main character, he's never been tagged.
Yeah.
The whole time since they were kids to now, he's never once been tagged.
Interesting.
So they're all trying to tag Jeremy Renner. At some point during the movie, Jeremy Renner sustained an injury. I don't remember what it was.
His
it
wrist,
his
wasn't
wrist?
it?
Yeah. And it hindered his ability to do Hawkeye stuff. So, fun facts of the day. So, we recently got a trailer for Bohemian Rhapsody.
Oh.
And it doesn't come
I'm
out until
so
November.
excited.
But I love the fucking trailer. It makes me really want to see it. I've always been a Queen fan. Now,
And they
I'm a
couldn't
bigger
have cast it better. I mean,
I know.
Rami Malek, who is skyrocketing in the center of the universe since Mr. Robot Season 1.
He's been around for a long time.
He has been around for
I
a very
didn't even
long
know that he was in Night at the Museum too.
No,
I
He
knew
was
that.
he was Tutankhamun.
Yeah, he was.
I didn't know that. That's
he,
crazy.
He was the son-in-law and master of the Master, which is
What?
Yeah, he was absolutely amazing in there too. I thought it was great. But his biggest work to date is Mr. Robot, and he's done very well, and that's getting him a lot of notoriety. But I mean, he is perfect for this role.
Oh yeah. He's another one of those that it seems like chameleon people where he'll figure out a way.
Yeah.
And he's
sure.
wow, I didn't know this.
Can't wait.
And so this is another movie similar to Solo that had somewhat of a troubled production because they filmed most of the movie and then they just straight up fired Bryan Singer because he stopped showing up to work. Bryan Singer, if you don't know, directed the first 2 X-Men movies. He also did The Usual Suspects.
Did we have trouble with him before with the movie? Or am I thinking of someone else?
What?
Never mind.
Okay. But no, he's a good filmmaker. The world is always seen him as one of the higher tier filmmakers out there. But at the same time, this whole Me Too movement's been going on. He's openly a gay man. I think he's married to a man as well. And someone down the line accused him of some sexual misconduct. I don't remember of what nature.
Did he go into hiding?
Pretty much, yeah. So as soon as that came out, he didn't come to work, and he said that there was some health issue going on with him and his family, but everyone just kind of assumed that it was because of the allegations that came out at that time.
Right.
So he skipped work, didn't call in or anything, just didn't come into work, and then the studio was like, okay, well you've held up production for I think it was at least 1 day, if not more than one, and they were just okay, you're just fired.
That is a lot of money.
Oh yeah. So they just fired him, and I don't remember who they brought in to finish it, but they used all of what he shot.
That's good.
That would be Dexter Fletcher.
Yeah, so Dexter Fletcher comes in to fill in all the cracks and see production through all the way to the end. And hopefully that doesn't hinder the movie because it looks phenomenal. And I guess he wasn't getting along with Rami Malek either.
Interesting.
I think I don't remember where I read that, so don't quote me.
Cite your source.
Don't quote me. But I think I do remember reading that they weren't chummy.
So I actually did not like Queen for a very, very long time because of my childhood. But now this movie, I'm like all about them.
What did they do to you?
You don't even want to know.
Oh, Lord.
Okay.
Just kidding. We just listened to Queen for like 13 hours on blast, on repeat, when we would do road trips when I was a kid.
Which gave you 13 reasons why.
Yeah. 13 reasons why to hate Queen. But basically, we would take a lot of road trips to Wisconsin from Pennsylvania when I was a kid, and that's a long
That's a haul
trip.
Well, that's just an all-day thing. That's like 14 hours.
Yeah, so just imagine listening to Queen on repeat, and then your whole family singing it as a teenager.
So that's
from an outsider's perspective, that sounds like heaven.
Yeah.
But
that sounds cool for like the first hour.
Yeah, and then just imagine being cramped in a car and just them blasting Queen all day. Like, I could not stand Queen for the longest time, and then this trailer came out, and I was like, yes,
I'm okay with Queen.
Let's go.
Like Queen or not,
You're gonna get it.
Freddie Mercury is actually on record with having the world's perfect voice.
Are you gonna say that every time?
Look, now it's on the podcast. I'll never have to bring it up again.
Thank
but
God.
He has
bring it up in our own personal life.
He technically has the widest range out there from the absolute lowest to the absolute highest.
Yes.
So there you go.
All right.
The more you know. So we're gonna end this podcast with a quick segment.
Oh, good. It's so hot in here.
Oh, it's so hot. We're gonna do a quick segment. I want Aaron and Katimae to fire movies at me that are bad, and we're gonna do where it went wrong. And I'm gonna quickly try to identify what part of the movie that went wrong. Up until the point I'm going to identify, it had the potential to be a good movie. And then this is the point where it all went wrong.
I like it.
Go.
Show dogs.
Oh, God. Opening credits. No, the fucking pigeons in the beginning. It had promise until all of a sudden, you have the show dog is running through, like, whatever, the streets trying to do an investigation. And all of a sudden, these fucking pigeons fly in, running into each other, going, oh, my God. It was, I was out right at that moment. That happened in the first minute. Next.
Suicide Squad.
Oh, where did that go wrong? Eminem. Whenever they were doing Eminem and getting all dressed up, then it got too hammy for me. Next.
Batman vs Superman.
The opening credits when what is it? The bats are swirling around young Bruce Wayne and he's ascending through this.
I didn't even see that movie.
Yeah, so like there's. It's supposed to be like this kind of surreal dream sequence, but up until that point, it had not been. It had just been played like real life. So out of nowhere, this young Bruce Wayne is just is levitating through the well up to the top with all these bats flying around. I'm like, why is he Jesus? I don't understand. So that was weird. That's where I checked out.
The Last Airbender.
I didn't see that movie.
Ooh, I'm gonna spit in your face.
Oh, why?
Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull.
Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. That movie went wrong pretty much right away. Because to me, Indiana Jones movies are like a build. So like it starts off in pretty much like the real world. Like if you think Raiders of the Lost Ark, you have him going to get the idol, and then there's spikes coming out of the walls, or there's darts coming out of the walls, and the giant boulder.
That's your world.
Well, that's a world where things can happen, right?
Yeah.
But by the end of the movie, there's all this build to what does the Ark of the Covenant do, and then all of a sudden you get to see what it does, and it's like, oh, it's been building to this moment. And in the beginning of Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, they just blow the ridiculous cherry, like they pop it right away with him jumping in a freaking refrigerator and going through a nuclear blast. Okay, at that point, everything is unbelievable.
Trying too hard at that point.
Yeah. Like there needs to be a build to that scale, otherwise it's just all kind of noise. So you didn't build, you didn't tease me.
About
Steven?
G.I. Joe, The Rise of the Cobra.
I haven't seen that movie in such a long time. I remember not hating G.I. Joe when I saw it, but I think I was like 13 when it came out.
What about the classic movie Brick Mansions?
Oh.
Conception. That movie went wrong when someone said, let's make a movie and call it Brick Mansions. That's a horrible movie.
The title.
I don't remember any details about it, so I can't tell you where it went wrong.
Concrete walls.
Yeah, it was bad.
I seriously don't remember the plot at all.
Twilight.
Everything was going well with Twilight up until that really weird montage where they're like falling in love and he's like sneaking into her room and they do this really long like time lapse sequence where he's sneaking into the room and they're falling in love. Up until then it was like suspenseful and creepy, and then it just got like really weird and I didn't give a shit anymore.
The books were better.
That's cool.
Twilight Saga New Moon.
Didn't see that one. Believe it or not, I stopped watching after the first Twilight. I remember seeing the first Twilight because there was a girl who I really liked, and she asked me if I wanted to see Twilight, and I was like, hell yeah. And I thought it was a win-win because I liked her, and
you get to see vampires.
I get to see it. Like the trailer made it look like a freaking action movie. I was like, let's go watch it. I didn't know anything about Twilight. I just saw the trailer. I was like, that looks pretty cool. I'd see that movie. And then at that point, I remember like sitting there going like, I've been deceived.
How about The Tooth Fairy?
Oh, with The
There's
Rock.
nothing wrong with that movie.
Oh, okay.
It's an excellent movie.
Doesn't that have his actual daughter in it?
I think so.
Yeah.
Doesn't that have him wearing legit fake wings on the set?
Correct.
Yeah.
The A-Team.
The A-Team. That's another movie I didn't hate.
You didn't think it underwhelmed at all?
What about Black Mass?
Black Mass.
Ooh.
That movie went wrong.
When we didn't see any of the action.
Yeah. That movie went wrong when about halfway through. It's somewhere in the middle.
That trailer was misleading.
Yeah.
Trailer's super misleading, and it I think it was doing well until almost exactly halfway through when you start. That's where you start showing that your big crime boss or whatever in your movie, what they're capable of. Mm-hmm. And like halfway through you're building this like cartel, we're not cartel, but this group, syndicate, whatever you want to call it. You show it growing, and then you see what they're actually capable of. But instead, you just hear about it. Mm-hmm. Oh, they so-and-so did this. And then at some point, by the end of the movie, they just say, he controls all of Boston now. And you're going, well, I want to see that. Yeah, I don't want to hear about it. So you had me up until about the halfway point when you just got lazy.
And then it was long. Yeah. So long.
But that trailer of that movie was possibly the most intense trailer I've ever seen.
Yeah. It looked
the dinner
really
scene
amazing.
With the steak and everything like that.
Yeah.
How about Transformers, Dark of the Moon?
And Dark of the Moon. I think should be the last one.
The last one? Mm-hmm. Transformers, Dark of the Moon. When they did the really long twist shot to that girl's butt walking up the stairs. I was on board until giant twist shot of girl's butt. Just felt like you were trying to sell me butts, and that was the only butt. If the whole movie was butts after that, I wouldn't know what I signed up for.
Butts.
I think that is it for us. See what I did there with the butt?
But, well, thank you for joining us at our reunion /1/4th episode of Midnight Masterminds.
First episode in
many
LA.
slashes.
Too many slashes.
What up?
# too many slashes. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll do another one of these next week, and the next week, and the next week until we're dead.
And
oh.
like Screenplay on Facebook, Instagram.
Yes,
look out for the other podcasts, Stories from Storage.
Stories from Storage. We're also on Patreon.
Yeah.
Yes, do that. So I can eat.
You're welcome. Your money.
Yes,
or don't. Just at least listen to us.
No pressure, but I'll find
pressure.
you.
Also, check out the YouTube page.
You have two options. Send us money or
death.
Send us money. That's all you have.
Just send us money.
On top of all those things, we have some really new stuff, really cool stuff coming out this week. Look for the first episode of The Inventor.
Woo!
I directed it. I'm also in it, but just a little.
He is it.
Whoa. There are going to be more episodes of that coming out, so if you don't like it, you better buckle up, because there are 6 more coming after that one. And that's it.
Look out for my show, Visual Cooking.
Viz Cooking. It's a great show.
Great show.
Very exciting.
So,
watch that show.
Go subscribe to Screenplay. Like all of our stuff.
Go onto our Facebook page and like it and share it and just like subscribe. Hit the little bell thing too. That people do that.
That's on YouTube.
Yeah, we'll be on YouTube too, right?
Comment an emoji. That's what they do now, right? Like the fire emoji.
Oh yeah.
We're fire!
Woo!
If it's a social media thing, just do it.
Word.
If it's funny, it's worth it.
If it's funny, it's worth it. It's my catchphrase.
I like that.
You do?
I'm going to get that tattooed right under my Gyllenhaal.
Right next to your Gyllenhaal
nice.
tattoo.
Right.
All right, friends. Thanks for listening. We love you. Kisses.
Love you.